So in this book, the main character is being portrayed as poor, and her brother and her mom, the three of them. Um, you never really actually hear exactly what ethnicity the characters are, but I assume from the descriptions that they're white. I really don't, you don't really get much more than that about them. Um, the setting of the poverty is it's interesting because it's suburban, but more on the rural side of suburban. So there's like a coffee shop and a laundromat, and there's school, and there's a public bus, but there's also like abandoned houses outside of the town. So it's probably like a town that's suburban, that's on the outskirts of a more rural area. So that's kind of where they are. In terms of it being single parent or not, it is single parent because it's just the mother and the two kids, but the story is that the father just walked out one day. They don't really know why. So that's really the biggest reason as to where their poverty started, is where being poor started, is that their main source of income was from the father, and he just walked out, and left them with not enough money to be able to afford their apartment anymore. Um, the brother and sister are obviously male and female. They're two young kids. And both the child and the adult are portrayed as poor, but I think that the little girl really understands it a lot more than the brother does. I think he's still a little bit confused as to what's going on. And the mother really does, try as hard as she can. It seems like to me she works two jobs, and she takes on as much as she can, and she tries her best to get them as much as she possibly can. And her children really fight her on it because I think it's hard to understand all the parts of poverty. So I think that this is the most real book that I read, because it really shows the emotions of the mother and how she feels, and what these kids really, want out of life that they can't have. But it also shows, the importance of family and sticking together. And it's a really interesting book, and it's really different in terms of how it portrays how the parent feels about the poverty.